In today's news, it has never been more apparent to me that USDT Tether is not long for this world. The rug is literally getting pulled right out underneath their feet, and Ripple is capitalizing on this opportunity, cannibalizing them. Tether's CEO Paolo Ordino is feeling threatened, and he is panicking. Ordino was asked, how do you explain that USDC, the stablecoin of your main competitor Circle, is not showing the same growth as USDT? And he replied, because they haven't understood who needs a stablecoin the most. Circle is mainly targeting its stablecoin at banks when they don't need it. It's like selling ice cream to an Eskimo. Nobody in Europe or the United States really needs a stablecoin. Most people living in those territories already have a bank account. Those who really need them are in Asia, the Middle East, Africa, South and Central America, all regions of the world that have difficulty accessing the banking system. More and more people are using our stablecoin to protect themselves from the collapse of their local economy. Now, I imagine that there is some truth in this statement that the Asian, Middle Eastern, African, South and Central American regions have a much higher need for a stablecoin than Europe and the United States. But this is partly Tether's problem. The reason why they are being cannibalized is because effectively they are admitting they have completely ignored Europe and the United States. And now we have MiCA regulations, stablecoin regulations just around the corner, 1 month away from now. As we can see, the success of this regulation, MiCA, could provide a framework for other countries to use, which could lead to the export of these rules for other jurisdictions. Do you understand? Plainly put, MiCA is going to be the template, the foundation for the stablecoin regulations across the entire world. And this therefore is tightening the noose around USDT Tether. In the words of Natalia Latka, a leader in crypto compliance and financial crime and a policy director at blockchain analytics firm Merkle Science, the MiCA regulations will classify Tether as an electronic money token or an EMT, and therefore Tether would have to prove their operational efficiency, financial robustness and adhere to MiCA's regulatory framework, which would therefore mean they'd have to set up an office in one of the EU member states to be established as a legally recognised entity within the EU, which may be problematic for Tether considering that they are primarily based outside of Europe. But the complications for Tether doesn't stop there, given Tether's market cap and size and user base is very, very large. This further complicates things. Tether would likely be classified as a significant EMT, which would subject them to stricter rules and requirements. So effectively, MiCA is Tether's worst nightmare, and as a result of the imminent implementation of MiCA, allegedly Kraken Exchange is considering removing support of USDT. Seemingly because Tether has ignored the EU and the United States, they are being targeted by these regions, by Europe and the United States, and Ordino is beginning to panic, feeling threatened by their competitors. He posted last week, an uninformed CEO leading a company being investigated by the SEC launching a competitive stablecoin is being reported spreading fear about USDT. Of course, this is in reference to Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and what he stated in the podcast with Chris Vasquez. But if Ordino listened to the podcast, he would know that Brad Garlinghouse wasn't attacking Tether. The next words out of his mouth during the podcast was that he views Tether as a hugely important part of the ecosystem. But his point, unfortunately for them, is that the US government has clearly indicated they want more control over USD-backed stablecoin issuers, and thus Tether, as the largest player, is in their line of sight. Tether is not regulated by any government authority, not FinCEN, not the Fed, and thus without regulations, they will be cannibalized. And Ripple and XRP with the new Ripple stablecoin will be the ones to cannibalize Tether because of all the regions which Tether mentioned that people need a stablecoin, Asia, Middle East, Africa, South and Central America, well, Ripple are already integrated and deeply ingrained into these regions. Ripple's adoption is literally worldwide. worldwide. The new stablecoin will likely replace the need for Tether, as Ripple and XRP are also established in Europe and the United States as well. MiCA is literally their worst nightmare. We can hear in this interview with Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire the colossal bullish impact MiCA regulations is going to have. Pay close attention.
We're seeing this as a little bit of a preview in Europe right now. So MiCA has stablecoin rules. There haven't really been widely successful Euro stablecoins to date. But however, like when June 30th comes around, I think you're going to see a ton of movement in Euro stablecoin space. You're going to be tons of companies that are entering it. You might see 50 different companies competing, including big companies. I think you're going to see big incumbents, that some of whom are like large pan-European banks who want to be in this market, some of whom are large pan-European fintechs, who will want to be in this market, and then obviously like firms that are crypto native, right?
Everybody is going to jump on board to issue their own stablecoin, which is why the timing of Ripple's announcement to launch their own stablecoin, which is 100% backed by US government bonds, deposits, treasury and cash equivalents, this is the perfect moment for them, as regulations are now being enforced and as Ripple's lawsuit is coming close to an end. And this is why XRP's price is about to explode in value. In the words of Paul Barron, when you look at the big money moving at the pace in which it's going to be moving into the crypto market, stablecoins is the gateway to all of this. To quickly backtrack once again for a moment, Ardoino also stated that Circle is mainly targeting a stablecoin at banks when they don't need it. Now Ripple is doing the exact same thing as Circle in this regards, targeting big banks and large financial institutions, but this is also another reason why Tether are screwed. Through partnerships and contracts with fintechs, banks are neither prohibited or discouraged from providing crypto asset DLT banking services to make payment deposits. Blockchain is literally being incorporated into the financial system. The tracks are currently being laid for mainstream widespread adoption, and the banks are adopting this technology. They are allowed to provide crypto services to make payments already. It is just as the BIS stated very recently, the current financial system is too old and should be thrown in the garbage. Ripple and XRP have laid the foundation for TradeFi, fintechs and crypto, both of old and new, walking so the rest could run. Especially now that the dollar is continuously losing its influence, which is more dire than people seem to even realize, and XRP and crypto could provide a safe haven for this financial crisis. Listen very closely.
We, unfortunately, as citizens of the world, can't trust our governments to manage monetary supply in a long-term responsible way. There's a lot of evidence to support that sentence, right? The US dollar, arguably the best managed currency in the world, has been devalued through inflation by, over 90% in the last 50 years.
Is it 90% in the last 50 years?
If you do that, like just an adjusted, what was $100,000?
Purchasing power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible.
So, do we think that's going to get better or worse?
Wow, with the printing press,
I think it's probably going to get worse.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's the best managed currency. And by the way, we can argue about, actually, I should retract that a little bit. One of the best managed currencies. I mean, US dollars, I think many would say, if not the best and most carefully
we're the reserve currency,
but I mean, and that's the best one. So right. I think it's inevitable. And it's inevitable that, right now we're talking about is $2.5 trillion. Look, do I think this is an easy 10x over the next 5 to 10 years? Yeah, no problem. That doesn't freak me out when I say that at all.
Like that's conservative. If you
that feels safe. I mean, to the earlier conversation about asymmetric returns, is there a chance that it's 100x in that time frame? That feels aggressive, but I don't know. I think that many people in the United States particularly don't understand what it would be like to have lived in Argentina and have the Argentinian peso devalued effectively to zero multiple times in my lifetime. Why would you hold that currency?
We don't realize that could become us.
That's exactly the point.
Expect nothing but greatness in the coming month for Ripple and for XRP. The developments and partnerships put them on a pedestal above the rest. For example, with Modular Finance being one of the only non-bank financial institutions working with the Bank of England, the partnership between Ripple and them makes the perfect sense for both sides. This is how XRP is going to explode in value. This is how the story will go. Regulations will spread worldwide. Ripple will cannibalize USDT, and once the lawsuit is over, XRP having legal clarity, legal regulatory clarity in the US, and institutions are greenlighted for XRP adoption, XRP's price will soar to the moon. But don't look short term, think long term, and I'll see you in the next one.